Today I'm here to answer a question I received about how the Colt Walker could be the most powerful cap and ball revolver. I'm Dustin and you're watching Guns of the West. Bogey the Bear writes, "They say that the open frame makes Colts weaker than other guns and they can't hold as powerful a charge. They also happen to say the Colt Walker, an open frame gun, was the world's most powerful revolver until the .357 Magnum came along. So which is it then?" Now that is an excellent question, Bogey the Bear, and to answer it, I first want to talk just a little bit about the difference between an open frame revolver and a closed frame revolver. And for this comparison, I've got the Colt 1860 Army and the Remington New Model Army because they're similar size revolvers, the cylinders are similar size, they hold similar amounts of powder, so this will be fair. Now, on an open top, like this Colt 1860 Army, these are modern reproductions with modern steel, of course, but back in the day, they were not quite as strong, and with a design like this, it was possible that over time, especially with hot loads, as you've got the blast and the bullet or the ball slamming through that forcing cone, you could eventually end up stretching the wedge or warping it, damaging the arbor inside, and just wearing the gun out prematurely. Now, with, responsible loads, it usually was not a problem, but it was a potential problem. Whereas with a gun like this, the sometimes referred to as 1858 or actually called the Remington New Model Army, the frame is closed all the way around, much like modern revolvers, which gives it a lot more strength. You've got support coming from top and bottom for that forcing cone at the breech of the barrel, and it's just much stronger, which means you could load more powder in it. Not that you don't need to be careful, of course, but it's designed to withstand a little bit more pressure. Now, having said all that, the Colt Walker, an open-top gun, is the most powerful cap and ball revolver. So how can that be if it's open top? Well, let's take a look at one up close in comparison with the Remington New Model Army. Here is the Colt Walker, and it is massive. If I put the cylinders next to each other, you can see that this gun is much larger. This has a 9-inch barrel, a 15-inch overall length, and weighs a little more than 4.5 pounds. Let me show you a picture of their cylinders side by side. You can see in the picture that the Walker cylinder is wider and there's more steel, a lot more steel between the chambers. This is really beefed up because it was meant to be a very powerful gun. It is open top, but it's not made quite like the other open tops. Now, the one on the right is the Remington, and you can see that their chambers are much closer together. And here's a picture of them laying down. You can see that the length of the Remington is also much, much shorter. So it's not so much the Walker's design that makes this more powerful, it's the sheer size of it. It's just that it can hold so much more powder. When I shoot this Remington, or when I shoot my the 1860 Army, I'm usually loading about 25 to 30 grains. This can hold up to 60 grains of powder. So that's where that extreme power comes from. Again, it's not anything to do with it being open top. That's not as strong of a design. It's just this is really not even in the same ballpark as a gun like this. That's what it is. Now, I should mention though, even though this is more powerful, it doesn't mean it's better. Back in 1847, only 1,100 of these were originally made. 1,000 of those, of course, went to the mounted rifles down in Texas, and then 100 went to the civilian market and gifts and things like that. Now, of the 1,100, about 300 exploded in use because, again, back then the steel wasn't as good, and there's really just not a need necessarily, and I'm sure some people might argue with me that, but a need necessarily to try to fit so much power in a handgun. So yes, it's the most powerful one, but I wouldn't say it's the best one. It's a lot of fun, but it's heavy, it's bulky, and something like this not only is more comfortable to carry around, but it's going to last you a lot longer, especially back in the day when we're talking about weaker steels. Well, Bogey the Bear, I hope that helps you and that you can now see why the massive Colt Walker was able to be the most powerful revolver at that time. Don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos. And don't forget to check out the new website, gunsofthewestutah.com, down in the description. You'll also find where to find me on social media. Thank you so much for watching.